What is up, everybody?
Everybody.
Well, hi.
What? Sugarfoot just jumped out of nowhere. What?
Welcome to Funkatopia Live. I am your host, Mr. Christopher, and this is my incredible co-host with the grooves so infectious that the CDC tried to quarantine him, Mr. Michael Bland. It's in the house. What is up, big guy?
Yes! In the face! Yeah, yes. In the face, man. Yes. Yeah. Yes, in the face. I love it, man.
Oh my God!
All right.
Look at all you fine folks in here. April's been in here since about 7:30. Samantha, hello. Joni, hello. Sue Bailing, hey, what's going on? Divas for Social Justice. Oh, need to hear more. Clarissa from NYC. Henry, what's going on, man?
You know all these people?
No, I'm just naming them out of the chat room. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of them.
I've been to Henry's house for dinner. Yeah, Henry, that was good spaghetti and meatballs, brother. You talking like you know.
Joe. Hey, Joe, say hello to the wife. Tonight we have a very special guest in the house, a guitarist, songwriter, producer, based in Minneapolis, the incredibly talented and formidable, the maestro himself. Let's bring him in. The incredible Cory Wong is in the house.
What's happening, fellas? What's happening?
What is going on, man?
Wong!
What up, Bland? Hey,
you guys got stories. You guys have got stories.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I
got yelled at by Michael earlier today already.
What I do? What
happened here?
You're not chilling.
Oh, I forgot about that. I'm sorry, man. I was in a weird mood, man.
Not?
The pen was talking to me, man. He said he was. I said, "What are you up to, man?" He said, "I'm just chill." I said, can't be." Every time I turn on Instagram, there's a new clip. There's a new album getting dropped. There's no way you are chilling, bro. Don't lie to me, man.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this because I was just as I was trying to kind of gather things, I was like, what do I need to talk about? There's so much I need to talk about because he just like drops like album after album. And I was just like, oh, it looks like you took a break, and then all of a sudden, Fearless Flyers 5 comes out. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here, man? You're just like nonstop, dude.
I don't know. I mean, I got Michael knows I'm an ambitious fella with a lot of bandwidth for certain things. And, after doing the thing for a while, you learn to trust your instincts and you learn to trust the people you collaborate with. And, with the Fearless Flyers, it's easy because, we just write a handful of tunes, put some vibes together, get in the room with 4 cats. And it's like, well, 2 days later, the album's done. That was easy. And, with that band, it's like, I could edit it to pieces, but what's the point, So it's raw. It's the take. It's literally 2, max 3 takes per song. So the album gets made pretty quick. And, I run it through my mix template and the one that works for that music and, make the tweaks where appropriate, get creative where appropriate, and then
wow.
Let it rip.
Well, I'm not exactly sure if you follow Funkatopia on a regular basis much, or if I followed it over the years, but every year for the better part of 20 years now, I would say, well, not the Funkatopia best funk albums list. It's probably been doing it for at least 13 of those 20 years for sure. And started back in 2019. Was the first time that you appeared on the Best Funk album in 2019.
Nice.
Every year I pick the 20 best funk albums of that year once a year comes to a close, and just kind of, and you're always seem to be on it. So in 2019, you had this one, the motivational music for the syncopated soul, that was there, and then in 2020, you were on it again for the Cory Wong and the Wong, actually the motivated music for Syncopated Soul was featured Sonny T and John Batiste.
Yeah.
Then you had Cory Wong and the Wong Notes that was there. And then on top of that, if that's not enough, we had the Paisley Park sessions that were in 2020.
That's right.
Yes.
That the Paisley Park session. We'll talk about that as well. And Power Station that had what was it? Victor Wooten, Bela Fleck, Chromeo, Mark Lettier, Larry Carlton. There was like so many people on that friggin' album. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then the following year, notice they all say winner. You were on the list every single friggin' year that's happened. And then in 2023, you released a lucky one, but you were up against some really, really stiff competition that year. But that's okay, because in 2024, just last year, Metropole Orkest, you're right there again. So unbelievable. So it's an honor, really, to have you on here, because I've been trying to get you on for a long time. But let me finally say in person, congratulations. After all these years of trying to get you on the show, I finally get to say it in person. Thank you for all the funk. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I don't know what you have against Bland over here, because Bland was on 2 of the tracks of the lucky one, but he didn't make the cut. What?
Yeah, they didn't like me back in 2023.
Oh no, that wasn't it at all. That wasn't it at all. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who all was in that 2023 list. It was pretty. That was a fierce year. There was a lot of stuff going on for sure.
Yeah.
But man, oh man. I mean, and since we're talking about that, I wanted to talk about, because I want to get into some of the collaborations, but definitely want to talk about the Metropole Orkest, because this is just insane to me. Yeah. And I can't wrap my head. First of all, how in the world did you end up with this project? This is a project that is for those that don't know, Metropole Orkest, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is an orchestra that's in the Netherlands. Yes. How did you even get into this project?
So I've been aware of the Metropole Orkest for years. They are kind of like the premier orchestra when it comes to pop and jazz music. I'd put them up against anybody. I mean, it's an orchestra that knows how to groove. I mean, these cats can play. They can play to a click. They can play without. They can groove. They can play pretty. They're very versatile, and they understand pop music. They understand groove-based music, and they do jazz. They do all kinds of things really well. And they historically are known for collaborating with so many different artists. I mean, I remember watching videos of them with Richard Bona, Pat Metheny, Shaka Khan. Yeah. I mean, all kinds of cats. And when the opportunity came up to work with them, it was a run of shows, and it was basically adapting a bunch of my existing music to do a run of shows with them. Like, let's adapt existing music, add the orchestra, do the thing. We got done with it. It was like, oh my gosh, that was incredible. What if we did something where I curate music specifically for this ensemble? Because anybody who makes music knows, if you know what kind of colors you can paint with, you're gonna stare at the canvas in a different way. All of a sudden, there's different things available to you. So, when I'm the normal instrumentation that I play with, it's not small. I got an 11-piece band most of the time, so it's a large band. But when I know that I have my regular 11-piece band plus 55 other musicians that are available to be able to work with, it's incredible, because now all of a sudden it's these colors that I can paint with that I don't normally get to. And it's like, oh yeah, what would I do with the timpani? Oh yeah, what would I do with these tubas? Oh, we got a cat playing oboe? All right. Yeah. So all of a sudden, there's these different layers and textures that I can do. So with the Starship Syncopation album, that whole album was written specifically for that ensemble and collaboration. It was a collaborative album. So it was a really special project, really fun. Yeah, it was great. It was so much fun.
Well, so do you know how to write sheet music for the oboe? And I mean, I don't know how to write sheet music, but I assume, note wise, everything is the same, but there's got to be some type of restrictions. I mean, do you understand how to write music for all those different types of instruments?
I certainly do, but I also know when to give that assignment to somebody else whose life's work is that. So I can do it. Sure.
Wow.
In the same way, it's like I can lay down a drum track too if I have to, but I might as well get Mike to come in and play, So in the case of the arranging, I did mock-ups of here's what I'm hearing the role of many of these instruments. Here's kind of the main things. And then I would just write an explanation to the orchestrators or other arrangers I was working with. Hey, I'd like it to feel like this. Here's the momentum of the tune. Here's the energy arc of it. Here's what I'm thinking is the focal point. Here's what I'm hearing as counter melodies. Delegate as you need. And some of the tunes I had more information given to the arrangers than others. And sometimes I just let the arrangers run with it. And I know how to do it, but I knew that it would take me a lot more hours and it would suck some of the fun and life out of the project for me. Where I know a lot of people, it's like, oh, that's what they do. They have their templates, they have their things, they know exactly what to do. So I got Barbarella to arrange the title track. He crushed that one. Absolutely. I had a couple Dutch guys that work with Metropole Orkest regularly.
Wow.
A lot of cats that I've just enjoyed working with a lot over the years to help that side of it. And also they know a little more specifically what that orchestra, like there was a whole list of here's how our orchestra likes to see these charts. Here's what here's what they want. Here's how to make it easy for them. And I'm when I chart, it's just more like, here's how I do it, right. And then we just kind of figure it out. But it's too many people who would be confused if it,
So how nerve-wracking is that to be standing out there and kind of be like a focal point, almost like a first chair type of scenario where you're sitting out there with this guitar and you've got this huge orchestra behind it? I can't imagine that's like a calming experience by any stretch of the imagination.
To be honest, it wasn't very nerve-wracking to me because I was so prepared. And it was just very artistically and creatively fulfilling because again, I'm exploring and expanding my artistry and growing and learning and challenging myself in new and different ways. And anytime I feel nervous, it's normally just because I'm not really prepared, or it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it feels just a little too out of reach for me to be comfortable. Now I like being challenged in the moment where it's like, okay, we're figuring this out. It's all improvisation. It's all there right there. But if I feel like other people have the script and I don't know, and I'm improvising or I'm kind of trying to figure it out, then I get a little bit nervous. But because I came in there so prepared, honestly, it was just creatively fulfilling.
Man. Go ahead, Michael. You were going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got a lot of thoughts, but I'm just, I'm using a little, I'm being a little more judicious because I know we got only so many minutes with Cory. And
no, it's all good. We're going to keep him all night, so he doesn't know that now. But so I have to ask you kind of about your trajectory because it seems like you're always in the right place at the right time. It's just like one great gig after another. It kind of seems like. What was that first? I guess with that first session that you did that kind of started that progression that maybe kind of kicked off the ball rolling. Do you remember what that pivotal moment?
It's funny because there's so many different avenues and there's so many different times where there was checkpoints that kind of define a new start to a part of my career. So at first it was just trying to make a living playing music and trying to get gigs. And it was like, oh, one of my teachers at college couldn't make a gig and they asked me to sub for their wedding band. And I came in prepared and learned the music. And all of a sudden I started getting hired all the time. My schedule could be as full as I wanted it to be playing gigs. So that was a huge checkpoint. And then it was, I'm starting to play in projects that make money that also are a little more creatively satisfying as well. And there was Michael was there. It was the Larry Long's album release party with Billy Peterson and a bunch of the cats.
That's right. At that theater. It was the
I'm trying to remember. I remember it's next to that Pink Lotus or whatever Chinese restaurant or
Pings is the name of
Pings.
that place.
Oh yeah, Pings. Yeah.
And their wings are incredible. Yes.
Oh, the Ping Wing, man.
The Ping Wing, brother.
Oh.
Wait, this is in Minneapolis?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, you got to tell me with this. When I get up there in June, you got to show me with this. I'm a wing.
Sure, man. Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm
so
sorry.
that was a pivotal moment because I showed up and I met a bunch of people and played with a bunch of cats that all of a sudden became now a scene that I'm a part of. And then from there, it was just kind of growing and a bunch of random gigs. And then I got a gig with somebody in Nashville. I don't even remember which one it was first. And then all of a sudden that kind of broke me into the Nashville touring scene a little bit. So there was like a checkpoint gig there. And then all of a sudden it was hanging out with friends of mine that were just kind of passing through town that were musicians. We had a jam session in LA that was literally just at my friend's living room. And it turned out to be a Vulfpeck video and started kind of this whole journey with Vulfpeck. And then all of a sudden I decided I should do some of my own music. And I hired Michael and Sonny and our friend Ryan and John Fields to go into this studio called the Terrarium and cut some tunes just because I was like, I want to start doing some stuff. And then I feel like that was a checkpoint for me to start kind of my own individual career as an artist. So there's a lot of different gigs and a lot of different paths, but I do remember a lot of different places that kind of sparked new eras or new kind of scenes in my career.
Yeah, I mean, and this album in particular, is this the first album, your first one?
That's the first full-length record I did, yeah.
The great, so because I've had some people that have asked me about this and wanting to know, I guess, are you going to be re-releasing this album? I guess this is a really, I only know like a couple tracks off of this, but I guess people are asking, is this going to be re-released at any point in time in the future, like maybe on vinyl or something?
I actually have never put this out on vinyl, and I need to. It is on my list of things to do. Thank you for the reminder.
Sure.
Yeah. I need to do that. I hope my manager is watching right now. Put it on our list.
Yes. We do. Go ahead, Michael.
No, I think I don't mean to correct Cory, or I just want to augment his story to include some of these guys he's still playing with that he started out playing with here in town. You know, Patar, Kevin, Yo, and the whole like Foreign Motion. Like there was a chapter in there you kind of skipped over.
Yeah.
And I only went back to it because you're still looking at the same dudes on the stage.
Yeah.
Almost, just a few more.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and I know we're kind of going out of order, but I do want to. You do have some fans in the chat room here, and Ben Griffin asked about the MSG, the Madison Square Garden, I'm assuming, Vulfpeck show, and what fans should expect.
Yeah, Jack and I were just talking about that this week on production-wise, what to do. We're gonna put on the best show that we can. We got some fun surprises. It might look similar to the Palladium shows that we did, but just amped up. And yeah.
Okay. And then he also had a follow-up question. Also, how the song "Memories" came to be on the new Vulf album.
That's a great question. We, when that whole thing was happening for a while, and we were all hanging at home for a year or whatever, however long that was, the thing, Vulfpeck started putting out this series of albums called the Vulf Vault, and it was each one of them kind of focused on a different member in the band. Just a limited vinyl drop for those. And when it came time to do my album, the Wong's Cafe, I was like, well, a lot of these other ones, it's compilations where it's like all the songs that Antoine sings on one, and that makes sense. And the songs that Theo sings on another one, or bass features on another one for Joe Darts. It's like, well, I got a hard drive with a bunch of tunes that we haven't recorded yet. And I've got a bunch of other stuff that was demos that we were going to potentially use for whatever the next album was going to be. or even for the last album, stuff that just wasn't released. And Memories was one of the things that I put together as a demo to be for the next Vulf album after whatever the previous one was. And I kind of had it as a voice memo. And then when Jack said, oh yeah, go ahead, just put a bunch of new stuff together for it that's kind of focused on you and your guitar sound, I put that one together a little more seriously. And then it's like, oh yeah, we should actually do this as a real full band tune. So we ended up bringing that to the new album too.
Yeah, because I saw you had with Vulfpeck, you had done, I guess it's called Vulf Vault 5, Wong's Cafe. That was in 2022. Yeah. And so I guess I must have been disconnected. It's called Vulf Vault 5. Is that insinuating there are 4 more of those?
Well, there's actually, I guess there are 6 total. The only one that hasn't come out yet is Joey Dawsix, but it's just, it's just a different person focused on each one.
I see what you were saying, Michael. He doesn't stop. He just keeps.
Yeah. Don't ever try to tell me you're chilling.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just ongoing. It's just keeps on coming.
You know what's funny is that I keep thinking about, I watched like an interview of like Mr. Big on MTV, like back when like I'm the one who wants to.
Oh, yeah.
That was out. And they had Billy, what's the bass player's name? Billy Sheehan.
Billy Sheehan
was talking about how you work all your life and then you finally get a hit, and then it's like now the work really begins. I mean, man. So I mean, are you experiencing something like that, Cory? It's like, wow, now I'm up to my neck now.
Yes and no, because I mean, we're out on tour, and once the tour is, it's a lot of stress to get the tour up and running, and then once the tour starts, once the train has left the station, it's like, okay, we have some momentum, it's moving, the team is in place, stuff's happening, and yes, it is a lot to do, but halfway through the tour, at some point, I'm like, man, I should get some work done today. And it's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, bro, you literally just sound checked and you're about to go on stage. But I'm like, yeah. But like, I need to do some work too. Like, I got to catch up on work.
I'm fighting making a racist remark right now.
What?
Because the Chinese half must be the half that's telling you work.
Well, no. I mean, my work ethic. It's like
I met your dad.
Yeah.
He looked at me like, you're not doing enough work. Sorry, Mr. Wong, I'll work harder. Howie, I'm sorry. Ed Bunkers. So what are you doing up there? Your dad busted my chops, man. I love him.
Yeah. Well, you know where I get it, but no, it's I don't feel like I mean, yes, I do feel like I'm working more than ever, but I also, because I've been able to find great people, teams of people around me, my booking, my managers, my band, Michael Nelson helping me with arranging the
team,
horns.
yeah.
I have a great team around me, great tour manager. There's just so much stuff that gets done where I'm just like, yes, oh yeah, this is the thing. This I could kind of oversee, but I don't have to, certain things I don't have to do anymore, quote unquote.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like the pressures of the whole thing is real, but I'm good for it. I liked it. I like it.
Yeah, no, you definitely you like to chop it up, man. You're a scrapper. I'll give you that, man. I really appreciate that about you, because I mean, maybe if I was still young, I could power lift, and get a couple things going, but then I see Wong is just running circles around everybody.
I think a lot of that too. I think a lot of that may be the fact that I don't know you personally, obviously, but I think some of us that have ADHD, even before it was called ADHD,
oh yeah,
we have to keep busy like all the time in order to kind of keep that at bay, because your mind is just like constantly moving. It's a thing, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I mean, you You don't have to know me personally. You know the the thing.
I'm
sure you can see. Yeah.
I think
I can see it.
the first conversation I had with Ryan Listman after you kind of broke, it was like, who knew this dude was in the Empire business? What, like, he's got a podcast. I think it might have been when the Strat came out, when your signature Stratocaster came out. I'm like, Cory Wong's in the Empire business. I get it now.
Yeah. So for those that don't follow you on social media, speaking of the podcast and stuff that you have, you just recently told a story about Prince coming to see you at Bunkers, and you and Michael having a little bit of an on-stage banter. I was wondering if you would retell that story.
That was an early time when I yelled at him.
I want you to retell that story for those who have not heard it. And then what I'd like to do is I'd also like to hear Michael's side of that as well, as far as his viewpoint. But we'll start with you, Cory.
Well, I was playing a lot of Bunkers, really cutting my teeth, learning how to play, getting, schooled by Billy Franzi and Michael and Sonny T and Johannes and all the cats there. Showing up every week, hanging out, watching, learning, sitting in, on a one or two songs a night. And then eventually Billy, how Minnesota is this? This is as Minnesota as it gets. He had a bowling injury, rotator cuff thing, had to get a surgery, and he was out for 6 weeks or something.
Oh my gosh.
So I was filling in and playing on the Bunkers. And then I eventually also just subbed a bunch of other random times. But during that time, I was still, the band is always kind of tested. Bunkers is this it's this brutal, savage, just pit of, you better be like, the reason why I'm not scared and why I prepare so hard now is because of my training at Bunkers. It's like, you're getting thrown into a pit and Michael will call. It's like, oh yeah, you don't know Serpentine Fire? Cool. Let's count it off. And then it's like, all right. Yeah, I told you I didn't know Serpentine Fire, but you're counting it off. Okay, cool. And that was just like, that was the thing at Bunkers. And then next week you show up and he says, you know Serpentine Fire? And the only answer is yes. So that was the kind of environment. And, tensions are already a little high every once in a while. And then, but once the band's comfortable, get a little loose. And then, normally, if any time that Prince would come by, somehow news would get to the band like, hey, Prince is going to be coming. Or it'd be kind of obvious. They'd like clear out a couple of the tables in the area where he liked to sit. And it's like, oh, they must be clearing those out for a reason, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, band tightens up a little bit more. It's like, oh, okay, all right. The band's tightening up. It's like, what if Michael, you going back to a job interview here? Like, what are we doing? Like, let's just keep playing, But it was just sort of that, like, he's coming, we got to be tight. So we start, band tightens up. You see the tables are empty. Stuff's about to come in. I don't remember what tune we're playing, but all of a sudden I start playing and I'm playing my Strat, but I start going into maybe a little more of a telly style tone. I start changing up my voicings, my feel a little bit, just trying to, put the Prince thing on it. And Michael looks over me, because he's always yelling, making sure everybody's staying tight. He's like, hey, what are you doing over there, Wong? He's like, knock it off. I was like, what? I'm sounding dope right now. I'm like, come on, man. Prince is coming. We're going to do the thing. He's like, if Prince wanted if Prince wanted to come here and listen to somebody sound like Prince on guitar, he'd just get up here and play guitar himself. So why don't you knock it off and start playing like yourself? I was like, oh, I'm allowed to do that? Sonny just looks over. He's like, do your thing, man. Do your thing, man.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
So what were you hearing, Michael? Were you hearing, was it like certain, I would know you would probably need to take a drink of water. Was it like certain, like a tone that like really set it off and you're like, oh, he's doing the Prince thing. What was the set off for you?
I can't always explain it, man. It's just, my ears, kind of, they catch it before my brain even understands what's going on. So it's just like, wait a minute. Like, people don't really understand what music is, man. If you really work with people, there is a transference of energy. There's psychic power, man. There's quantum entanglement, you know, and I don't mean to get all spooky.
No, we talked about it.
You know what I'm saying, man. It's not weird, you know, I mean, if you really want to understand the world, it's only frequencies and, you know, harmony, and I mean, it's vibration. You know,
exactly right.
I'm saying it's like, you know, it's just like I can feel when somebody's out of pocket because of the certitude of where I'm playing from. You know, it's the same thing, only it's like sometimes it's like, what's going on here? Like somebody's getting nervous, somebody's reaching for something. It's like it's like the force tells me or something, and I see Wong, like, and I start focusing on what he's playing. I'm like, oh no. He thinks Prince is gonna. He's like, and before I even knew what I was saying, it was out, and it's just pure truth. And fortunately, Wong is the type of guy who can accept constructive criticism, and not only that, rise and triumph just from a few short sentences. He would have blown it that night. Prince would have He would have did them short steps and been out the kitchen, taking the back door out that place. I could feel it. I was like, no, man. Because I'll also share another story. I watched an interview of Wendy Melvoin talking about how she was in Lisa's hotel room, just kind of doing her like thing, like just playing voicings. And she didn't know, but Prince was out in the hall and listening, like kind of at the door, like, you know, and Prince said to himself, I could really use that color in my ensemble. Like she's got something to bring to me that I don't, you know, like Prince was always a student and he always was listening, you know, and something in me just said, because you guys have been, Cory and Patar had been talking about, hey, man, it's Patar, man, we can't miss the chance, man. Prince is going to, so, you know, I get it. Every young, good player wonders, like, could I actually be good enough to get in that, you know, get in there somewhere? Maybe Prince will see me. It's what happened to me at Bunkers, literally.
Yeah.
Prince came in, he saw me, he sat in and made up his mind, basically. Wow. So I knew that Wong was taking it serious, but I'm like, no, you've got to be yourself, man. Because that's what Prince will really respect. Yeah. And what did he tell you, Wong, when he got to talk to you finally?
That was the question. Yeah.
Yeah. A comment that'll carry me kind of forever if I need, which was, hey man, you got a sound. You got a sound, man. You got a thing. Keep it up. You got such a great sound. You like have a unique voice on the instrument. And he just kept saying, like, you got such a voice. You got such a thing. And I think if I wouldn't have taken Michael's advice, if I would have been like, no, man, I'm looking for a gig. I'm going to barrel down and try to do what I think is going to be the best, I wouldn't have actually been myself. And fortunately, I've had enough people around like Michael and Sonny and my friend Theo from Vulf and Jack from Vulf and plenty of other people just kind of been like, hey, that thing, that's like your thing, isn't it? I'm like, what? It's just like this thing that I do. You mean other people don't do this? And it's like, no, like that's your thing.
That's right.
The more I kind of have other people around to hear that or acknowledge it, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So,
everybody
hearing him say that, it was...
that's a blessing, dude. That's really awesome.
I've really been focused on that lately, man. It's like, it's difficult to see yourself accurately from the inside. Right. Like you really do need people around that you can trust to tell you, like, because we can't know it all. Can't know what it's like to be us and also know what it's like for other people to be around us. You know, people make observations that can really assist you in understanding yourself. Yeah. You know, now Sonny corrects people with a lot more love than I do. For me, it's just like, listen, I just out it comes, man. I'm just kind of aggressive and like, because I really take music seriously and I want everybody else to also. So I change my tone when I'm talking about these things because this is my life you're talking about. I got everything every accomplishment in my life, everything I've acquired.
Cory knows how I'm going with this because I saw we were at. Never mind. I don't know.
Right,
May I say, Michael, I've known you for a long time. We were at the Together show, and we were in, and they were practicing, and I'm not going to say who, but there was somebody who was just kind of not falling in line, and that was probably one of the first times that I heard Michael go, "Okay, well, look, is that?" It was that so direct. It was just, I was like, I'm glad the doors aren't open yet.
You know what, though, Mr. Christopher? That's how I know the people around me love me, man.
They do.
Because they put up with me.
Yeah.
They can say, man, screw you, man. Who do you think you're talking to? But when you're right, you're right. So then the only thing to do is be humble enough to accept it and make a correction, make a change,
Yeah. And I'm glad you found
excited about it. It's not, I'm upset because things are not functioning correctly. I'm not upset as a person. I don't even see people when I'm playing music. I'm going by what I hear. And it's like, no. It just comes out, man.
Yeah. So. You were going to say something, Cory? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've seen that 100 times. I've been the beneficiary of that several times. But also, I'm like, is Sonny really much? Does he really do it with more love? I'm like, maybe.
Okay, maybe he doesn't. But
yeah, I think you're more direct in person. But that's actually the funny thing about Bunkers. Bunkers is a place that will humble you. Bunkers historically will humble a person because also a lot of people, they don't realize part of the Bunkers thing is if you're being chastised for the way you play, odds are it's because they want you back and just want you to actually know the thing the correct way when you come back.
Yeah.
So if you're being kind of hollered at, odds it's because, hey, we want you around. And I don't think everybody realizes that, where sometimes, I'll see the kiss of death is when somebody will get done playing and Michael just be like, yeah, sound good, man. Sound good, man. And then it's like, not seeing that cat again.
It's not even sounds good because I really try not to lie to people. They'll go, hey, man, hey, thanks a lot for, hey, yo, all right, brother. I just go, all right, man. All right, brother.
No, all right, man. All right.
Peace. I don't give them the you sounded great because you didn't. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't even know you. Who are you for me to have to lie to you? But still, but that's what it is. It's real constructive criticism is about love. It's not about, he's right. He's right. And I'm glad that he had the wisdom to see. I won't waste words on somebody who hasn't a chance. What's the point?
Yeah. And I'm glad you were able to find your voice and connect with that.
Yeah, me too.
In time to receive. The first time, I don't feel like for all of my life, I don't ever feel like I have a distinct voice, even a talking voice. But I happened to go to Minneapolis, matter of fact, and I was in Electric Fetus. This is many, many years ago. And I was talking to this lady at the register, and this girl behind me goes, I know that voice. That's Mr. Christopher. And I'm like, how you recognized my voice? It was just really strange to hear that. And what's interesting is that you were mentioning that your Prince had mentioned to you that you had your own sound. And last week we had the amazing David Garibaldi on the show.
Oh yeah.
And he was really animated about, going to kind of go down a little bit different path here. Is that he's animated about focusing on the feel of the song, because we were talking about how he had his own sound and he didn't even, he was just playing because he just kind of felt like whenever I hear music, I'm just getting into it for the feel of the song and not getting too obsessed with the timekeeping of it and just focusing on what the overall needs of the song are. However, I've seen a few of your interviews, and you've indicated the significance for you of practicing with metronomes and also the importance of 16th note strumming and all those patterns in order to study a groove. So I honestly see the importance of both, but do you feel like you lean more towards one or the other, or is it just part of the learning process of that particular song, or where do you feel like you lean more? Well, timekeeping or feel?
I mean, I don't find them to be. I think they're interchangeable, and they're
right.
You can't have one without the other. I feel like when I'm playing with a metronome, it's when I'm practicing with a metronome, it's target practice, and I am intentionally hitting bullseyes right now. I want to nail the center of the grid. But in certain games, if you're playing darts, not that I'm a darts guy, but I just know this analogy sometimes works. Like sometimes in the game, you need to hit triple 16s, and those triple 16s are over on this side of the board. So I got to hit this side of the board. I'm focusing on hitting this. It's not the center, but I'm hitting this side of the board, and I want to be able to hit this. And sometimes I want to hit a double 3. Okay, whatever. That's on this side of the board, and I'm just target practice. I need to hit that one place, and the target practice is, or if I'm, doing the bullseye thing, I'm practicing the time. But sometimes the appropriate thing for a song, it's like, here is the time. The dartboard's always steady, but like we're kind of all agreeing to feel the song. We're all kind of aiming for double 3s on this one, or like we're going for triple 17s on this song, so you just choose where to place it. So to me, groove and time, they're so interchangeable, and I think a lot of times people are like, oh yeah, music done to a grid is lifeless. It's like, no, if you're playing music to a grid and it's lifeless, that means you're lifeless. And you don't know how to bring the groove to it. And I know I see Michael nodding and enough because I come from his school of it. So I Michael, please fill in the gaps. But I know that we're
you're doing excellently. No, please go on, man. You're there.
No, I think sometimes music should be felt right here in the center. You hear certain stuff that a lot of the Minneapolis stuff, it's got a certain time feel that needs to just be right on. And I'll see a lot of people, like, a lot of East Coast cats play Minneapolis music, and I'm like, it's like everything is right other than you're just hitting right of the dart, like just right of the bullseye. There's certain music if you were to lay back punk rock music, it's like it's just not going to feel right, or if you rush D'Angelo's music, it's just not going to feel right. So, the time is steady, but where you feel the groove, it's really just about agreeing on where everybody is going to sit in relation to the time. So to me, the groove is kind of like where the band is all going to agree where to hit on the dartboard, but the bullseye is always the same.
Yeah, agreed.
Me too.
And I think music, and I do think that music has changed quite a bit. I mean, as far as like the style, and specifically with funk, and your contributions to funk have definitely kind of changed some of the face of it, kind of added a little bit of layer of sophistication, if you will. I mean, to be totally honest, just because of, and how you keep expanding it, like working with Metropole Orkest and things like that. It's really refreshing. And I think this is one of the reasons why you keep landing on the best funk albums list, is because you just bring so many different flavors. But I do have this is a heavy question. This is probably for both of you. Let me, I don't know how to phrase this. About a decade ago, maybe a little bit more than that, I wrote a post on funkatopia.com called "When Funk Went White." It is exactly what you think it is. And it spoke about how funk began and flourished in the 70s and 80s, and then basically another wave of cultural appropriation came in. It happened. Bands like Average White Band and Wild Cherry and Tower of Power emerged. And then, of course, as you kind of progress the timeline, you have bands like Vulfpeck and Lettuce and Chromeo and Orgone and Galactic and New Master Sounds and all these guys. Now, both of you are actively in the studio, and I don't really know where to go with this question other than to ask, why do you think that trend just kind of doesn't seem to relent at all? I mean, like you simply just don't see a lot of black funk bands out there anymore, other than the original bands like Zap and Midnight Star and stuff that are just touring with their original material. What do you think is happening, and what do you think is happening in that, Michael?
Let me lead off first, because I want to go back to something. What people don't understand, or they don't, what sometimes they don't understand about the Minneapolis sound, like Prince's music once he got a hold of the Lynn machine, things became a lot like, that's a big component of the precision with which he's playing. You know, he's playing to a drum machine, which he's programmed, and so on and so forth. You know, but there is a certain metronomic quality, you know, to 1999. You know, once Prince got that, not that, I mean, he and Morris Day, I thought were great drummers. I mean, they certainly held their time on those early records.
Oh yeah,
you know? I mean,
sure.
I'm not criticizing, but I'm saying what people call the Minneapolis sound is it's very much a matter of precision, like this metronomic sort of, it's everything's tight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's precise. I think that's something that people think it's like this thing that's kind of loose, but it's sort of there's some Oakland in there, and there's some other unknown element in the Minneapolis sound. You know what I mean? So I wanted to address that first. It's like, if you don't if you can't play in time, you need to just leave our music alone. I'll say that.
Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
Second off, I would say that this rash of white funk was preceded by a rash of white blues. Like,
that's true.
This is the thing that happens, and I this is one thing I don't like about my own people, but we invent types of music, and then we abandon our own, you know, modes of expression.
So do you think that black bands have abandoned funk? Is that essentially what I'm hearing from you?
I'll tell you what it is that I think that it's somewhat, I want to be careful to frame this correctly. Music's music. If you're bad, you're bad.
Correct. We'll agree there.
But,
yeah, for sure.
No, I'm not even talking about like it being a race thing per se.
I know.
I'm just talking about the ways of my people is we invent stuff that makes the whole world go round, and then we put it down. We're on to the next. Mm-hmm. And I think that what I've seen is that, Johnny Lang used to come down to Bunkers when he was like 12, 13.
Yeah, Johnny.
His dad would bring him in there. You know, he'd get on stage singing it. Well, the nighttime is the right time, you know, and playing. But I'm watching a 13-year-old who probably ain't even, you know, got nothing yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, why are you making this young boy sing these old man songs? You know, so God bless, you know, David Z and Bruce. What's Bruce's last name? Bruce McCabe. That's right. These are legendary people in the Midwest. You know, they figured out a way to, you know, to make him a viable blues artist, but kind of, you know, crossover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I first time I heard him, I was like, oh, you sit at home and listen to Albert King records, huh? He said, how do you know that? Come on, man.
You can hear it. You can hear it.
You're playing my music. I know what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's also a part of it. It's like, I bet there's probably more teenage black people listening to the Ohio Players now than there probably was about 5-10 years ago. But, you know, people are discovering the past a lot more quickly now because of the information age and so on and so forth, you know. Yeah. And also some artists are, you know, sometimes the best music is a combination of something old and something new.
Yeah.
So I think that any music that was good is still good. It's just a matter of how you interpret it.
No, and it's still good. I mean, Cory and all the projects, all the millions of projects that he's involved in are testament to that, because they are still pumping out amazing, like really, really funky tracks, but still with a little bit of taste and a little bit of growth and a little bit of, maturity to it. I mean,
but that's because he's versatile.
That's right.
And also he loves music, not just funk.
Yeah.
You know?
Cory, did you have anything to add?
No, I think that's a great observation. I actually haven't thought about it that way, Michael. But also, I think it's people just I think different cultures of people also just start playing different styles of music. It's like,
Sure.
you know, you're absolutely right. And certain things just all of a sudden, what's after hip hop? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what.
I don't know.
Sure, but meanwhile, like Afro pop has all of a sudden, in the last couple of years, really taken off.
Oh yeah, totally.
So that's what I'm saying, is that invention is always happening. With Black people. It's just one of those things. But I really, we do have a couple. There's like Chris Stone, Kingfish. Have you met Kingfish?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah. Kingfish is amazing.
You're always going to find a couple cats keeping the roots of it alive.
Black Joe Lewis, Gary Clark Jr. All those cats. Yeah, for sure.
So Eric Gale's even in a way, I mean, he's not, he can play the blues, but I think he's a more versatile player than that. Like, he's got real harmonic knowledge. You can tell when he solos, he's, showing you, hey, look, I can do these extensions also,
Yeah.
And then he'll go into his classical thing, man. That cracks me up.
Yeah,
man.
he's sick.
He's bad dude, man. Bad dude. But
speaking of which, let's talk about Vulfpeck here, because since we're not really speaking of which, I'm going to migrate into Vulfpeck here. Tell me how you did say that you started just kind of doing some jam sessions with them in the early days of Vulfpeck, because a lot of modern funk purists really consider Vulfpeck to be one of the premier, funk artists in this movement. Tell me a little bit more about the history. How did you meet them? Did you say you went to school with them or something, or what was the story?
No, I was the only one that didn't go to University of Michigan. So it was a University of Michigan band. And it is a U of M band. I went to University of Minnesota, but I met the cats at Bunkers. We were playing, and it's one of those things where you're just like looking out there and you can tell who the musicians are in the crowd by the way they're watching and all this.
Yeah, or the way they walk in with their soft bag on their back. I thought I'd bring my guitar in case
they're knit back.
They might ask me to sit in, so I just thought I'd bring my axe.
Now, before you go on, who was playing? You were playing, or they were playing?
We were playing. It was Mambo's Combo.
Yeah. Oh, Mambo's Combo. Okay, all right.
And some of the guys from Vulf were in town playing for a friend of ours who was on the TV show Glee, Darren Criss. And he was in town playing at the Varsity Theater. They got done with a gig, and one of our mutual friends was like, yo, you got to check out Bunkers after your gig. So they all came over, and we just met that night, started hanging out, had breakfast the next morning. I was going to LA a lot at the time, doing a bunch of work things, and we would start to hang out. And then eventually, we were friends for several months first, and then eventually just started hanging and playing a little bit. Recorded on an album, started playing some live shows, and then I was just kind of absorbed into the band. It wasn't like any signed paperwork thing. It was just like, oh yeah, I guess I'm in this now.
Yeah, you were like just a natural fit. I mean, and also Cory was telling me about these guys. I was like, no, I never heard of them. He's like, you should check them out, man. They got videos on YouTube. Like, they're really kind of doing their thing, And then Cory, God bless him, he hooks me up with Vulfpeck. We do the video. We do Hero Town.
Yeah.
At Flowers.
Oh, great song. Yeah.
And, and I had not been I still don't do a lot of social media. I don't film myself playing. I'm like, I'd rather I'm cool with having a little bit more mystique, but, that was one of the first, that might be the first clip that I was ever in that kind of went viral. Yeah. I was like, 1 million people saw this. What? They kind of revived my brand. They put me they introduced me to a whole other audience, Yeah.
And let's not forget, we have to mention Antoine Stanley too. I mean, that's
oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you guys are just monsters. And, since we're talking about collaborations, first off, when I was doing the research, whenever I search for Vulfpeck, how Google always says, people also ask. And one of them was, is Cory Wong now a member of Vulfpeck? I was like, I guess you're there quite a bit. So, and you got a Madison. I mean, are you touring with them right now? Active? I saw this MSG tour that we just talked about. Is that just a sitting gig, or are you like doing this whole tour with them?
I mean, we don't tour, we do. I mean,
They don't go out.
Just pop up.
It's better if people don't know. That's the kind of funny thing. It's like,
there it
are
is.
you in the
That's
band?
what I'm
It's like,
saying.
oh, you mean,
Yes.
I do more than just play guitar, it's, but it's actually kind of fun to speak. I don't know.
Yep. Sometimes. So, I don't know. I haven't heard from those guys in a while. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Well, so another collaboration I need to ask about is obviously with Dave Koz. I mean, he is a literal jazz legend for many generations of musicians.
Oh yeah.
What is it like walking into the studio with someone of that caliber? And first off, how did you get collabed with him, and how much of a nervous wreck are you to start working with him?
Oh, I mean, Koz he's just the greatest dude. So I wasn't nervous at all because it was just a fun hang. The whole thing started as just this fun quest to hang with Koz on his cruise. And he's just the coolest dude. So, he's the thing that the funny thing is when I first was aware of Dave Koz, I'm like, honestly, this guy, I don't love his stuff, man. And then I saw him live. I saw live videos. I'm like, where's this? Why isn't there an album of this stuff? Because he's ferocious on the instrument. He's got all the Maceo stuff down. Like, he's a funky sax player, and he's got this ferocious energy that you don't always hear in his albums, but his live shows, you get it. So, you put a cat like that in situations where you kind of make him feel like the underdog. Like, the first several times we played, it was all with my crew. Like my crew of people, my studio, not my studio, a studio that, kind of my home rink, and I invited Ricky Peterson to play keys because I knew they knew each other from the Sanborn stuff. So it's like, I'll throw him a bone. I'll let him know, I'll give him one person who could be like, yeah, he's vouch for us. But, here's some tunes that I just put together. Boom, boom, put them in a room and almost make it feel like, oh, I gotta kill this. It's like, yeah. And in that act, it like really gave him this energy that he hadn't had in a little while. And it was just really fun to play with him because I knew that he was that good. I just wanted to see him give that energy in an actual album. Now,
the couple out, I've seen the Koz Nod, and I've also seen the Golden Hour. Is there more of work with you two besides these two albums?
No, those are the two things that we did.
It's great to be able to kind of lock in and kind of be a part of that history because, again, he is a jazz legend. So it's kind of like the cachet of being able to play with somebody that big, somebody be able to play with a Miles Davis or play with a Prince or play with, Dave Koz or David Sanborn or any of these guys. It's just, so good on you, man, because that's like fantastic. And another person that's like that, obviously, is the amazing John Batiste.
Yeah.
Let me just say, this guy is just, he's gotten a lot of major recognition and a lot of traction with his career over the past few years. And with the, it was an American Symphony documentary that was on Netflix following, all that, the rise, and and they also cover the battles that his wife was going with leukemia, right? Was what
she was doing cancer. Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. So how close are you to them as personally, or is it just studio?
Yeah, John's a great friend. We started as friends. We played on a couple. We met actually in St. Paul playing for Live From Here, which was what took over Prairie Home Companion. He was a guest host, and we just played a show together and became friends. Ended up talking in the green room after for an hour, and he invited me to come hang on the Late Show because when he was the band leader on the Late Show.
Wow,
hung for a couple weeks playing in the show, and we just wrote a bunch of music together, recorded a bunch of music together, just hung out in the studio and talked about life, talked about music. It was beautiful. We recorded that whole album of his We Are album, and we did a collaborative album together called Meditations. It was just a bunch of time together in the studio, just talking about life, and I think it's great. He's such a great dude.
Yeah, how happy are you for him, man? Because even watching that documentary, I was thinking this dude is so down to earth and just, family first. Just really, just seems like one of these guys that's just, very, very in tune with himself, both spiritually and musically and everything else. I mean,
yeah, he's great. I'm so excited for him. It's really fun to see.
Man, he's just a monster. Yeah. All right, so let's go to the next thing here. I had never even heard of this, and let's see if I can pull this up. Can you tell me a little bit about? I don't know anything about it. What is Misty Boyce, or who is Misty Boyce? What is this?
Oh, so this picture is from a PBS filming thing that we did at 7th Street Entry. Uh-huh. And it was us and Misty Boyce. So they do this showcase thing of Minnesota artists, and Misty also lives in the Twin Cities.
I think the show's called, is it called Stage?
I think so, yeah.
Like yeah.
It's
a thing that TPT does, for public TV. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Soul Asylum did it. I remember. Yeah. You guys,
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we did this show at 7th Street Entry. Misty played a set. I played a set, and she came up and sang with us too. And they interviewed both of us, and we talked to each other about music. And that was a fun event, because I think the show before this was like some festival. This was last year, but I remember going from like playing a festival in front of 20,000 people to literally the next weekend playing this at 7th Street Entry, this small club. It was such a cool change in energy. It was fun.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I think it was a PBS special, and it was actually, I guess, on rotation in PBS up where you guys are. We'd love to be able to see some of this stuff and just get access to this. I don't know if this is like accessible.
It's online.
It's the whole thing?
Go to tpt.com. I'm sure it's there.
Man, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yep.
So, and we kind of mentioned this a little bit, but let's talk about, because I want to wrap things up for you, because I want to be respectful of your time. Tell me about this Fearless Flyers 5 that just came out. What, like a week ago? Is that
vinyl pre-order just started. The album comes out.
It's not even out
next week. The album officially releases next. Next Friday. So, new album from the Fearless Flyers. We've been just really excited, doing a bunch of collabing back and forth, writing. And, I would send tracks to Mark, and he'd be like, oh, this one's just good. Just leave it how it is. I'm like, okay. Or other ones, he'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm hearing this other idea. Or give me the stems. I want to play with this. I want to change this and that. And he would do the same, send something to me. I'd be like, oh, this is done. Just like, let's just add this for the form, and then this. Or, I would be hearing something else. And we got together in Burbank, kind of did a day of setup and sound check, ran through each song a couple times. And then the next day we recorded 3 songs. The next day we recorded 3 songs. The album's done.
It's just a machine. Michael, you were right. He's just a machine. It just like keeps on going. My brother is in here. Many people don't know that I have a brother. I do. Andy's in here, and he was asking, wait, does Cory have ADHD? Because both my brother and I have ADHD. and you kind of confirmed it a little bit. You were mentioning the fact that it's pretty insane. It's got to keep moving. And speaking of which, we got one more thing that I want to ask you about, and that's, I saw this. What is this syncopated summer camp? I've never. Is this a week or just 3 days?
4 days. Dude, 4 days. This is so much fun. We did this last year, and it's a summer camp. We take over this hotel, and every day there's morning kind of breakout sessions for, the instructors are all teaching in different rooms, and you can kind of just choose. We say, here's the topic for this person who's teaching at this time. So morning breakout session, and then a morning master class with the whole camp, with one of our special guests, kind of a hang in the middle of the day, and then in the afternoon, another kind of breakout session, another big master class, and then we do a big concert at the end of the night. And then after the concert, all the like ballrooms and offices and things in the hotel and the main bar and the lobby, we just turn them into jam rooms. I got a bunch of drum sets, amps, keyboards, PAs in all the rooms, and people just get together and jam. It's such a fun time because, it's people from all kinds of instruments coming from around the world and just hang and play music and learn from each other. It's absolute blast.
Any vocalists that walk into this, or?
Yeah, some. I mean, as far as our special guests, I mean, Joey Dosick and Theo Katzman, both incredible instrumentalists and musicians, but they're singing, they're talking about songs, because also, for these instrumentalists to learn, what do singers want from us? How do I best play behind songs? It's nice for instrumentalists to be able to hear from band leaders and singers that are able to articulate that to them.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. So it's called Cory Wong's Syncopated Summer Camp. So how many of these have you done?
This is my second one. We did one last year. It was absolute blowout. We're doing it again this year. So it's great. And we limit the number of people that can come, so that way it stays pretty intimate. It's cool.
Man, and it's in a very hip spot too. It's Nashville, so you can't go wrong. I mean, there's no downtime anywhere. Man, that's just it. So is there any other projects you want to let us know about that? I mean, you obviously have the Fearless Flyers that's literally just about to come out next week. What else is going on with you? There's got to be a few other things that we don't know.
I mean, Michael's coming. Michael and Sonny are getting in the studio with me on Thursday and Friday. I'm cutting.
What?
I'm working on a bunch of new songs.
I mean, it's
for what? For the new album of yours?
Just hey, you guys give me a couple days. All right, man. We don't ask that many questions. We just, there's going to be some music involved. That's about all. We're just
always plugging away.
Yeah. You never know what you can come up with.
It's good. It's fun.
Well, we got a couple of tracks that are on. We have an app called Funked Up that plays 24/7 funk music. It's ASCAP licensed. We have we actually play a couple tracks from you as well. So I'm gonna have to reach out for you for a bumper to put in front of those songs.
Yeah.
Man, it's been an honor. Michael, did I miss anything? What?
I don't think so. I was just gonna. My one thing. I saw you interview George Benson, and I was like, that dude. I can't believe Wong got to interview George Benson. I worked with George Benson back in 1995 on an album called That's Right. It was me and Ricky and Paul Peterson, and I think Tommy LaPuma was there.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, I wonder if Wong thinks as highly as I do of George Benson. Like, what was that like with him, man?
He's the king. We were on the same festival bill in France at this Roman amphitheater in the south of France called Jazz à Vienne. I was opening for George for this festival, and it just so happened that he and I sat down at catering at the same time, across from the table from each other. Boy. And 45 minutes of stories later, it was he and Pitar and I just sat there, and he told us story after story after story, and we're hanging, and he's like, hey, man, I like you. Was that you sound checking earlier? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dang, you guys are good. Blah, blah, blah. And so, so we hit it off, and then I interviewed him for my podcast. It was a dream come true. And then speaking of the camps, he had a camp 4 months ago, and he invited me to be an instructor at his camp. And we talked about that album. He was telling me about hanging out at Paisley Park.
All right.
And he was telling me, because Ricky was there too. So
and chain smoking going, George Benson's in there. you know, I got freaked out because Ricky and Paul were so freaked out.
I know. They were telling me the whole thing, man. It was fun. And, George is just such a nice dude, man. Like, he's an absolute hero. He's like my number one guitar hero, honestly. And, wow. But he's just such a great dude. I mean, he's so cool, man. I mean, how many people can say that like they reached the pinnacle of jazz hero and also reach the pinnacle of pop hero and like
Yeah.
have the pop hit. It's like,
Yeah. How many
That's
jazz
multiple.
musicians how many jazz musicians sell 30 million records, man?
Multiple pop hits, by the way. Multiple pop
Yeah.
hits.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, he was
Anyway, that's I really felt like, okay, Wong, you've arrived now. Because George Benson is an institution. I know there's a lot of bad dudes out there, but if you're talking about strictly like just concept, every day in the studio, Benson changed his language entirely.
dude.
You could hear him working on like a sort of his conjunctionary phrasing and this and like the devices he was using to modulate. All that changed every day. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah.
It's just 12 notes, but he was so inventive every day, man.
Brilliant.
It was crazy.
That would have been amazing to see. You can hear it in his music, but that would have been amazing to see it kind of in its
every day you just walk in and you go,
balance.
okay, and then he's not playing anything he played the day before.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, and I did mean to ask you. You did mention this in passing, and I'm sure that these purple people are going to be upset if I don't ask before you go about the Paisley Park session, that album specifically, and what was your thought concept behind? I mean, obviously, recording a session at Paisley Park is, iconic in itself. But what was your thought process and idea with that album? Were you trying to be more? Were you consciously thinking about what Michael was saying about don't be Prince, do use your own voice? Because here you are in Paisley Park, and that seems like you would want to lean that way.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing our thing, man. It was just like, let's film. Like, we wanted to try to film something that we could, like a live session somewhere to live stream.
Yeah.
So because we weren't really doing shows still. So it's like, let's find a legendary studio, get in the studio together and record the album, just cut it straight down. And then it ended up where the internet there wasn't, there was a, the funny thing was like, we want to preserve everything exactly as, he left it. And I'm like, yeah, but like, if you're a studio, Pro Tools 8, like, I don't think Prince would have been hung up on you updating Pro Tools or the wireless router. Like, I don't feel like that would have been a hang up.
Yeah.
But respect. So,
Sure. Well, yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing, is that it's mainly a museum, and that's the problem. You need people who are capable to make such decisions. Everybody doesn't know what's required to do this or that.
Yeah,
and
it's not like we're changing out the like the console. It's like, no, we're just if we updated Pro Tools, this would be good for everybody to use, but like we can't like this, so it was an amazing experience. We didn't end up live streaming it, but the room sounds insane and the mics are incredible, and it was just such a fun and special time. And it was Sonny's first time walking in that building for years, and he was just like, whoa. And then he was hollering, trying to get one of his basses off the wall that was behind glass. And then
what? Whoa, what's that story?
He's like, that's my bass.
Oh, yeah.
He's trying to find the right guy to get his bass.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not your bass. It's like, I'm like, who else would have had a left-handed bass strung up? Like, it's Sonny's bass.
Sonny's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Wait, so there's somebody under the impression that it was Prince's bass and then they put it up on the wall, or did it have Sonny's name on it? I guess it didn't, because I didn't.
Here's probably what happened. It probably got left accidentally, because when Sonny got his endorsement with Warwick, Prince heard Sonny's bass, was like, I want one of those. Prince had the thumb bass, which was the white bass with the eye on it, the one-eyed bass. The Warwick, right?
Yeah.
So they just started sending. Sonny had a gold flake thumb bass. Sonny had a Warwick that had the lyrics to the song Gold all over it. Like, there were so many. They probably just thought, well, it's Prince's building. They probably, it's just they automatically think everything that's there is there because of him.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah, but that just kind of goes to show some of the things that we're experiencing now. Was like, you just like Cory said, how do you look at a left-handed bass and
say that's not yours.
It's like
That was
the
funny.
critics like to do a lot of different things.
That's
but
what
that
I'm
wasn't one of
saying.
them.
There's
Yeah,
a basic level of ignorance when it comes to the musical aspect of what's going on out there. And I mean, there's plenty of people who know better. If I was them, I would hire one of the old engineers that used to work there, who lives close by.
Sure.
It's like, I really think that place, I understand they want it to be a museum, but it can't be a tomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a fine line, man. I think that place could still have some new life breathed into it if it became a place where things were created, if it became a place where things were studied. It's you know what I mean?
Yeah, we talked about that because there's like a few ideas that we threw out. Teaching kids music, every single bit of music, the production of it, the playing, everything there in Paisley Park. The allowing the older bands to come in there, like the Family and the Time and all these bands, and actually go in there and record brand new music in Paisley Park, which had significance in itself. There's so much that they could do to make that into an actual, really good, professional, functioning facility, but they're so wrapped up into the tourism part of it and and I understand that part, but there is a way to separate it out. There are already parts of the building you can't go into anyways. So
it's not an easy pivot, but I think it would be worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, okay. Wong, I know you got to run, man. But
this Lou says, "Thank you, Cory, for your incredible shows in St. Paul last fall. Eric and I attended both shows as guests and said they loved it." So
nice. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. This is great.
This has been an honor, dude. Thank you so much for hanging with us, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the maestro himself, Mr. Cory Wong, man. Oh my God.
And when the record we're working on this week comes out, you should come back.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay.
Part 2.
If it gets out, we should talk about it here.
All right.
All right, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only.
Word.
Cory Wong. Thank you, brother.
Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate you.
Guys, thank you, bro.
Okay.
Thank you.
Peace.
See ya.